Hey everyone, I hope all of you are doing well today. My name is Poisonblade and welcome to what's potentially going to be the most clickbaity video ever, because we're building a dome that's going to house the African penguins. The African penguins habitat is going to have a almost 360-degree underwater viewing area. It's also going to be a multi-tiered habitat, and this entire video will showcase the biggest expansion to Kayan al-Bashar to date, which retroactively makes my last video on Kayan al-Bashar a complete and utter lie. So enjoy today's video. So talking about the dome, I got the idea of penguins under a dome from Dutch Lion's Penguins Dome, so I'm going to link his channel down below in the description. But I wanted to basically have a dome for the penguins because it looks a lot more urban, and this is actually going to be a renovation of a previous build that I made, because we are building this, or this is going to be in the place of the previous penguin habitat in Kayan al-Bashar, which was basically just this lake with penguins, was a statue of Hebe and a statue of Aphrodite. But since the old quarter became so much more urbanized, like the plans changed so much, I needed to change that. I also just wasn't happy with how that build turned out. So then when I saw Dutch Lion's Penguins Dome, I was just like, that idea would fit perfectly in Kayan al-Bashar. But I didn't want to make it look like Dutch Lion's Penguins Dome. I actually wanted it to be more like, for anyone who plays Guild Wars 2 and knows the City of Lies Arch, the City of Lies Arch has this huge dome in the center of it that kind of looks like a jellyfish because it's supposed to look like a jellyfish. However, my dome wasn't supposed to look like a jellyfish. My dome was supposed to get the idea of like that shape of a dome, but I wanted it to look like an upside down flower. Yeah, it still looks like a jellyfish. But I am very happy with it, because it's so insane that it only works in Kayan al-Bashar. But lore-wise, I think this dome would probably be, like, it would have a very official name. Like, it would be like the Dome of Theodosius or the Dome of Demetrius, depending on which emperor built it, either the current one or his father. But yeah, this dome would probably not be very old. Like, it would probably be like around 20 years old at the max, because some buildings just give off that feel of not being old. Some buildings can get away with that for a long time. This dome probably won't. But yeah, when it came to this dome, it's going to probably have a very official name, probably Dome of Demetrius, or Demetrius. When you say a name over and over again, it sort of loses its meaning and it just becomes this blur. Anyway, but yeah, it's going to probably have an official name, but then the locals are just going to refer to it as the jellyfish, because it looks like a jellyfish. Even if it wasn't meant to look like a jellyfish, it was supposed to look like an upside down flower, but it looks like a jellyfish. I took too many notes from the jellyfish dome in Lion's Arch. It's supposed to be an upside down flower. But I'm very happy with how the dome turned out. However, the actual habitat was a pain in the ass. Because here is the thing. Barriers don't really want to interact with the entrance to habitat. However, because this is a 360 degree, like it's a complete circle, and I wanted to first have a 360 degree underwater viewing area, yeah, that didn't want to work out because I couldn't raise the glass high enough, or the barriers high enough, so that I could fill it with water to the point that I wanted it to. And then the biggest pain in the butt was this circle didn't give enough habitat, or didn't give enough space to the penguins. I had to make it larger. So the multi-tiered part of this habitat wasn't supposed to be the case. So in the end, this is where I had to lose the 360 degree underwater viewing area that I was trying to build, as you can see here. But I had to lose that and make it like a 180 degree, 250 degree underwater viewing area. It's still a large part, but I basically had to make this sort of sewer pipes that went out from the center circle into the surrounding area. Had some waterfalls because I wanted the water to go down. But sadly, you can't really have flowing water in Planet Zoo, or at least you can't have it at an angle. So yeah, that was a pain in the ass, because again, the glass is annoying to build. So yeah, the original island that I'm building right now, it was too little space. But hey, now I have a multi-tiered habitat that was so painful to build that at one point I was legitimately just like, do I want to give these penguins a good place to live? Because it's just... But then it also, this is just squirrel brain moment, but when I was making like those sewer pipes that go out from the original circle, I realized, Kayan al-Bashar doesn't have a sewer system. Which basically means that, yeah, they're still working with like chamber pots and such, which is reasonable because Kayan al-Bashar is supposed to be like modeled after a 16th, early 17th century city, which, to my knowledge, most cities back then didn't have sewer systems. And most people were working with chamber pots and such, so yeah, maybe you don't want to go near the buildings early in the morning because you might get some shit thrown over you. Because we know that the people of Kayan al-Bashar will just dump their chamber pots out into the streets. Yeah, now it makes sense that there's like a lot of like fabrics just like hanging over the street. Maybe it's just to protect you from the shit flying from above you. I always thought that airplanes would also, like, if you shat on an airplane, it just, you know, there could be an unfortunate person on the ground that just... Yeah, I was a dumb kid. But anyway, I also made these sort of weird lights because, I mean, this dome is already so outrageous. Having outrageous lights doesn't make it even less outrageous, or like this. Yeah, there was an explanation there, but my brain just short-circuited, and we're just going to move on. But yeah, I made outrageous lights because this dome is already outrageous. Like, it's perfect for Kayan al-Bashar. Like, it's completely gold, and Kayan al-Bashar has gold mines, but we haven't really seen that back into the city. But having this dome was just like, yeah, fuck you, Colonia. For those who don't know, and this is like completely unnecessary info, Colonia is another city in this fantasy world that I've built who has like an intense rivalry with Kayan al-Bashar, to the point that, like, I mean, there's no wars going on, but there might someday be like a fire in the opposing city that was mysteriously started, and all the officials just hate each other, and they go to great lengths to be like, I'm the prettiest city. No, I'm the prettiest city, and so on. Like, I'm the wealthiest. No, I am. And city rivalries are fun. But anyway, this dome isn't the whole build. As I said, this is going to be the largest expansion to Kayan al-Bashar to date, which means that I'm only showing you like 5 or 10% in the speed build. The tour is going to be the wow factor, because I didn't want to show you guys all of the buildings being built, because they basically follow the same idea as the previous video on Kayan al-Bashar. I did, however, find out that the US does medicine kind of a dumb way, or at least has the wrong icon for medicine, but then it also somewhat makes sense. Anyway, let's move on to the tour. Alright, I don't think you guys are ready for what I've built. This is just a side thing. I mean, Kayan al-Bashar didn't really have defenses, so I built a few bastions because I wanted to. There's not a really proper explanation. Well, there is actually, because these bastions kind of show that Kayan al-Bashar is a little bit more technologically advanced than, let's say, Valhalla, because they are building bastions, which are coming into being around the 16th century, I would say, end 16th century. Beginning early 17th century, somewhere around there. I just wanted to build these because they kind of closed off the weird harbor that's completely just floating airships and such. But yeah, who cares about this old part of Kayan al-Bashar? Like, pfft, let's go towards the new part. So this is a little bit of a just reminder of what was there by having the statue of Aphrodite in front of it, but There's the new part. That's the part that I wanted to show you. And you can see the dome in there. So yeah, I wasn't lying when I said, oh, I only showed you like 5 or 10% of it. Because that dome is tiny compared to everything that I've built. So let's go up there, because I don't want to make this tour way too long, even though I'm going to be geeking out over my own build, which I'm going to say is completely justified this time. Because it's huge, and I'm just very proud of what I've built. So we're going up there, and this is what I meant with the multi-tieredness of this penguin habitat, because this is also their habitat. Yeah, they also like to like run down this hill. Like for some reason they like to just run there and then they turn back around. See? I wish I had planned that, but I didn't. But yeah, then they like to swim to these duckies, knock them over because penguins are assholes, and then they turn back around. That running animation though is hilarious. It's just like, I need to pee, I need to pee, I need to pee, I need to pee. Like we all have done that run where we need to pee. There's shy little Albert. I should have named him Albert, but he's just there. And then the sort of secret area. So before we get into the just out of this worldness of the Dome of Theodosius or the Dome of Demetrius, I still haven't really settled on a name, or the jellyfish, we're going to their underwater viewing area, which, as I said, was a pain in the ass. But I basically just made this kind of like an alleyway. Like, I like building alleyways for some reason. Like, yes, you will potentially get stabbed here when it's night, but in daytime it looks pretty. And it's weirdly cozy. I wish we had crystals though, because this would look a lot more amazing with crystals instead of ice blocks. But yeah, you have that here. Some of the tree roots are growing through. And then you have the viewing area, which I don't actually know. Can you please dive for us? Can you please? I think he is diving. Yeah, he is. They can dive here. I totally knew that they could dive in this. At least I think he's diving. Yes, he is diving. Then I basically used an old statue. I broke it apart, kind of just giving the vibe of like this being like an old religious place that was turned into like a cistern and then was turned into the jellyfish. So just putting some history in this build, which is to me is just fun to do. So yeah, you won't really recognize it as a statue at first glance, which I kind of like when it's like submerged in water. Oh, now all of your penguins are here. Again, like they love that one area that I just pointed out where they all do the I need to pee run. But all of the other places in this habitat they rarely go to. Like they rarely are here. But I should probably show this quickly at night. So let's do that very quickly. I didn't do much here. Like I wanted this to kind of feel natural. But yeah, there's a little bit of light coming off the crystals, not too much, because I once did this same thing with like the crystals in the Temple of Poseidon, which is now completely gone. Like, there's a few renovations that I need to do. So the next video of Kayan al-Bashar is not going to be a month from now, it's going to be probably 2 weeks from now, but I ripped out the Temple of Poseidon. I ripped out the kangaroo habitat. And we still need to also do the Acropolis of Kayan al-Bashar. We need to do some area still. So I think there's 5 more videos for the Elysian Fields. And I think that Kayan al-Bashar is going to have 5 seasons instead of 4. So yes, you guys are getting an extra season because I want to renovate the Royal Palace. Anyway, let's go back to daytime. Daytime. and then remove the UI, and let's go into what's going to like shock your mind or brain. Sometimes I question if I have a brain with how little knowledge I have of grammar. Anyway, I'm not going to run because I've put so much work into this that I'm just like, yes, see it all. Also, this tower was modeled after a real life tower. I think it was in Aleppo. It's a real life like minaret, but sadly it's been destroyed because, you know, civil war there and just everything. Let's not get into political things, but yeah, this is modeled after a real life minaret that's sadly no longer there. But yeah, I made like this is an old card, but for the majority of it, I've made all new market or bazaar stalls and just I went complete nuts. So welcome to the jellyfish or the dome of Demetrius. Yeah, lighting, everything. And just I had to make so many props for this market. So I didn't show you guys building these houses because they kind of follow the same vibe or the same method as I did with the Spice Quarter, the Spice District, which now is just like I kind of gave up on that name. It's all going to be just the old quarter, but just walking around here. You have your butcher, which was really fun to build. Like Planet Zoo is all about like conservation and animal welfare, and I'm just like here. Do you want a pig's head? Yes, there's some blood dripping from it, but it shows you that the meat is completely fresh. So yeah, maybe this is where the kangaroos ended up. Then some pots, some spices, because of course it's Kayan al-Bashar, some fabrics, because back then you didn't buy complete clothes, you would probably buy fabric, bring that to like a seamstress or somebody who made clothes, and then you had to wait for a few months for them to make your clothes. So just like I like to imagine just lore-wise that this would be the place where you like spot Artemisia looking for new fabrics for a new dress, the spices, or well, I would also kind of think that this merchant would sell like incense, so you would find Cyrus here trying to find incense. Yeah, some food stalls, because of course you can also get a brief like this was supposed to be completely like a park, like nature and such, which is only on that side. But yeah, you can see the penguins if they ever show up here, which they don't. They don't really like this area. I wonder why. It's probably not the just craziness of the marketplace. I also just made like a bounty board because just going into like the RPG or just like giving that RPG vibe of like this is where you would accept a quest, basically. Like this is the hub where everything happens. But then, yeah, I need to give you guys also a look at like the buildings that I've created. It's also just really nice that like looking up you can see just the palace of or the royal palace of Bashar, of the royal palace of Kayan al-Bashar. Damn, I'm not good with words today. Also, why is it going cloudy today? Stop it. Anyway, so fabrics here, and then this is just a little hint or reference to a series that I always loved. Because if anyone played Fable 2, you know this guy. And I just had so much fun building a sign that looked like a mustache. That's the most fun of this build. It was just building this sign that was shaped like a mustache, and then just sadly there weren't enough pictures of it looking at like the side and such, so it's probably not completely accurate, but that was just, it's a fun reference to build. Of course. Then for the ones with a sheet or a sweet tooth, damn, words really aren't going well today. But for those with a sweet tooth, yeah, chocolate has come into Kayan al-Bashar. I would say that it's like a relatively new product coming to Kayan al-Bashar. But then we have some oranges, and this was fun to build, a music stall. Yeah, I totally didn't lose my mind trying to build all of these props. Then we have a little stall selling wines from Arcado, which is why they are in amphora instead of barrels. And this is where I can say the US did something wrong. Because to my knowledge, from what I've read, like this is a hospital, which is signaled by this, which is the staff of someone. Like it's supposed to be like the staff or the signal of like a very prominent healer when it comes to ancient Greek mythology. However, the staff of that healer or the icon of that healer has one snake, as you can see here. I think the American healthcare system uses the version with 2 snakes, even though worldwide this is supposed to be the sign of like healthcare. So yes, this is again a hospital, but in the US they use the version with 2 snakes, which I think is the caduceus, or basically it's the signal or icon of Hermes, who is the god of travelers and thieves. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense if you think of the US healthcare system and how much it costs. But yeah, I used the proper icon of the staff. And I went crazy with the clock. Although the clock also shows at what time you should be showing Kayan al-Bashar. Kayan al-Bashar is not really meant to be shown at night. So this is just like a sign of, if you are going to visit Kayan al-Bashar, put it at 1 o'clock, and that's what I've built Kayan al-Bashar in. So that's the time that you would see the best version of Kayan al-Bashar. And then of course, because, I mean, there's a hospital here, but if you want to get some like maybe not so good remedies, we have somebody selling potions here. Whether they are good or not is up to you to find out. But yeah, it was just fun to build that. And of course, because we have rice fields, we have a rice stall here. This is the only remains of the park. We have a flower seller who might be taking his flowers from this park, so you might just as well pick them yourself. Then we have cheese, because of course, cheese. Like, I am a blasphemous Dutch person because I don't like cheese, but yeah, Kayan al-Bashar, there's cheese here. And this one was actually a poll that I put up on the community page of like, what should I build next? Well, you guys voted for an ice cream shop, so there's an ice cream shop in Kayan al-Bashar now. You guys can guess the flavors of these. I do know that these two are like coffee. Maybe this one is like espresso and this is like some kind of like, you know, you call it coffee, but it's like mostly sugar and milk. But yeah, you guys have fun with all of the other flavors. So yeah, I've built an ice cream shop. But most of these buildings are just really there to like give that urban vibe and make it feel a little bit more enclosed. Although with these buildings, I definitely went a little bit more into like actual, like, I think most of these were like inspired by buildings in Aleppo and Damascus, which I recently found like a lot of pictures of Aleppo, and just like, yeah, a lot of it was inspired by that. I made a sign for the apothecary, even though there's a hospital nearby, but you know, having all of these close by is just like, this is the place where you get like, well, you probably get pickpocketed. Yeah, you definitely get pickpocketed here. There's probably like, in walking around here, you probably have been like, your wallet has changed hands at least 3 times already. But yeah, that's the Jellyfish Dome, or the Market of Demetrius. I wanted to call this the Forum, but it didn't really fit well. But just look at this place. But as I said, I like to build alleyways. Yeah, I'm just going to give you a little bit more of a look. And this is where the Acropolis is going to be. So that's still unfinished. But if we turn sideways here, we have a little alleyway because I decided to hate myself and also built at the back side of these buildings. A lot of buildings are just facades. These are not. Well, they are. There's nothing of use in them, but there's also backsides to these buildings. Then we have some, like, again, you're probably going to get mugged here at night, but we have some, like, gambling stalls. We have some orange stalls or just fruit, a grocery store, a very tiny grocery store because it's legitimately just like this corner. I think we're on a wall. Ah, we got off of it. Miracles do happen. We also walked over this person's gambling mat, like just games. I think this one is from Avatar. Like there's a... I think it's an episode where Toph is like basically scamming gamblers. Or just, you know, just look up that episode. But these sticks are from there. And then the fun thing was just making this backside. Like, this is what I really like to do. Making like these tiny streets. Because it just feels cozy. This is probably why I will never move to the US or Canada. Because you don't really have these like sort of like nice little alleyways. Not that I really would want to go here at night, because again, you will get mugged here. Like Kayan al-Bashar, sure is pretty. Is it safe? How much armor do you have? Do you have something to protect your throat? Nah, I don't think you would be killed here. I mean, you can't get money off of that person. Well, you can, but, you know, you will probably more likely be kidnapped. Yeah, this tour really did take a turn. But again, this part is going to be for the Acropolis. I decided like, oh, I can do this part still. Like, I wanted a little temple here. But then I thought, alright, Poison. You built this entire section. I think people will forgive you if you stop building here. So yeah, I want to again show you guys like this view, like this. It's so pretty, and like you can see that like the dome has been completely integrated into the bazaar. And also, yeah, I made new Romani carts or wagons because these are actually more to scale. But that's basically the tour for today. I know I went on for quite a long time. I think I will do a separate cinematic video that's going to be later, not this week, but next week. Thank you, Barbara, for disrupting my tour. But yeah, I will probably do a cinematic on its own because the old quarter of Kayan al-Bashar is so nearly finished that I want to do a separate video of it. Fuck you, Barbara. Go out of the screen right now. I will stab you. Bye-bye, Barbara. So yeah, I will again do a separate cinematic just because I think this place just deserves a separate cinematic. Let's just run to the park. Because this is the place where there is the statue of Hebe, so a reference to that. Also, I really quickly want to show you guys this as well. I keep extending this tour, I know. But yeah, this is the other side. That penguin needed to be. But yeah, there's this side for the habitat. I hope we won't get stuck here. A waterfall, of course, going down there. They like to woggle down this hill. And then the other side, you can see from this sort of extension. Which is their favorite place. But that's going to be it for today. I want to find a perfect spot to end today's video. I'm kind of went a bit insane with the plants. I don't know where we are stuck on now. I I want a good ending shot. This tour is all over the place. But I want a good ending shot. We're stuck on something. Fuck. You know, let's just go here. At least now Planet Zoo recognizes that we are on rocks and won't clip through them. Yeah, that's a good ending shot. So that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said before, there will be a separate cinematic because I think next week or the week after that I will have finished the old quarter of Kayan al-Bashar and I just want everything in one cinematic. It'll be like 10-15 minutes because I love this place. And I think I am rightly proud of what I've built. So again, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, there's the like and subscribe button. If you want to see more, there's the notification button. But before that one starts working, I will stop building things. So anyway, again, hope you enjoyed today's video and I wish you all an amazing day. Bye bye.